Going live. It's been a while since we've done a work story, so I just wanted to come to you guys, give you guys a quick update. Today was quarterly planning or PI planning, depending on what type of organization that you're in. And essentially what quarterly planning is when organizations plan out the work that their teams are going to do for the next quarter of the year. And so if you're in a scaled framework like SAFe, Scaled Agile Framework, your organization would bring together all of the teams within a particular program or portfolio or that are working on a product to do the planning for that product. And so we had, I think, a total of maybe 9 teams in our planning, and product owners or product or the business put together the roadmap for the year of the work items that they wanted the teams to work on. And so once the teams committed to the individual items, teams would go into their breakout sessions and we would commit to decomposing or breaking those epics down into smaller pieces of work that we could commit to in sprints, and our teams work in 2-week sprints. So we committed to work that we broke it down into work that the teams could do and commit to within specific sprints, and then we plan that out, right? So in a quarter, we've got, I believe, 6 sprints total. And so the teams would say, hey, we're working on these stories across this sprint, and we'll be finished with these stories, ultimately completing this feature or epic by this time. And so depending on the organization, you may create a Gantt chart to see or visualize when all of the work starts and stops across the entire program. And so a couple of things that I've learned: this is the 3rd quarterly planning that we've done with this, or I've helped support with this product group. And the things that stand out to me are, one, that with each successive planning, teams understand the importance more and more and get better at doing the work necessary to, one, plan for the quarterly planning. So there's work that you have to do in advance as you're going into the quarterly planning. Teams have also gotten better at doing the actual work during the quarterly planning that they have to do during our breakout sessions. And finally, teams have gotten better at actually beginning the execution phase once the actual quarter starts or the iteration starts. So there was a lot of apprehension in the beginning about whether or not teams wanted to do quarterly planning and the way we were facilitating quarterly planning. But as we've done this each time, gathered feedback at the end of each planning event, and started to implement that feedback, teams have gotten more used to the planning process and have begun to appreciate it better. Now, a few things I'll say you've got to do to make sure that you have the best possible outcome from a planning event. One, you've got to have a person, in this case a release train engineer, that understands the process and understands what tools teams need to set up to be successful during the planning. And in our situation, the RTE that is facilitating our PI planning or quarterly planning is not actually an RTE. She's really a Scrum Master, but she sits in the role or plays the position of an RTE in that she coordinates all of the efforts and the communication and supports teams as far as tracking their impediments and helping overcome those impediments. So she's doing an amazing job with that. So you got to have an RTE that is knowledgeable of the process and understands what everybody's position should be in that process and understands how best to support the teams. The second thing I'll say is make sure you feed the people. Feed the people what they want to eat, because you know that on development teams or on technical teams, oftentimes there are different there are people from different parts of the world, people who have different palates and who prefer different types of foods. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that, one, that you cater, but when you're catering, that you take all of those different people into consideration and you cater food that is going to be best for everybody. The food can definitely make or break a planning session, so make sure you cater the right food. And I think the final thing that I'll say is if you can't have everybody in the same place at the same time, at least do your best to make sure that everybody is available virtually. So we have our planning in a few different locations. We've got Dallas, we've got a location in California, Atlanta, and we may have some people in Arkansas. But we've scheduled conference rooms in each of those locations. So even though we aren't all physically together in the same exact location, the people who are in the 4 different distributed locations are able to sit and work within the same area, if you will, or same room or conference room sometimes, as the people who are in the area with them. I think that's been a really big help as well. So just a couple of tips for quarterly planning or PI planning, as safe organizations call it, so that you can make the best of your quarterly planning event. And if you're interested in getting safe training or agile training, if you work with an agile team, or if you would like to work with an agile team, whether it's as a product owner, a scrum master, development team member, a stakeholder in any capacity, business analyst, there are tons of different roles that work and engage in some capacity with an agile team. It could be you could be a project manager, agile delivery lead. Check out academy.mansatech.com, where we've got our agile project management program, where we run you through a gamut of situations, and our curriculum really prepares you to either transition into a career as someone working with an agile team, or helps you level up your current career working with an agile team. So that's academy.mansatech.com, where we also offer a free 7-day trial to our course. Sign up for 7 days, take a look at our curriculum, check out our course, see if it's something that interests you. Schedule a time to talk with one of our enrollment counselors if you got any questions. But check us out there. And if you don't know what Scrum is, you hear me talking about Agile, you hear people talking about Scrum, go to our website, whatisscrum.com, where you can get access to our free course that teaches you what Scrum is and how organizations utilize it to do twice the work in half the time. All right, that's all I got. Y'all have a wonderful day. Peace.